wise as a serpent, living above grass, slithering between our crack sales and riddling for dividends, thinking higher than buying a piff again and flippering like a dolphin, dark season and cauldrons, omens for your omen like Christ born in the Trojan heist. Get frozen in life just by exposing your vice, picking through orangey hair, rolling roaches and lights and lush peepers. My kite struck lightning, striking on 40 acres. The so inviting, I'm hype. It's the world, I'm Scarface with a soft face. I'm firm, my beard covered with Earl to spit again. Like an infant who's born from woman that's scorned. Full of love in a world that's war torn. Life is simply an embrace. What's a rhythm? Get clapped, haters get jabbed. Always raps that you saw the kiss smack. Wanna tell me that life is not what happens, but it's more how you react. You wanna cry, get a stack, then put it on your racks, on racks with a strap. The following on tap, steady flowing, daily growing in the trap. Arms open and embrace.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand? Never take your eyes off your opponent, even when you bow.
Yes, yes, yes. You're tuned into RealVisionRadio.com, the Ash Hawkins and Mr. Brett Show, real independent media group. We got artists, MC, educator. Yo, this dude is large, man. He walked up the block, man. He came to East New York to come through to the Dead End Studios, by the way, to chat with me, to chill me. My homie, Hired Gun. What's good, brother?
How you doing, fam? What's good, Ash, a.k.a. Pessimist, a.k.a. I ain't even going to get into the government. We don't do that. We don't do that. No names.
Yeah, man. You know, a lot of things went down today in the Dead End. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It's never a surprise with me because, you know, that's how my life is. But anyway, enough about me. Yo, why the hell you call yourself Hired Gun? Because that kind of sounds like a name that's like, you know what I'm saying, like, dudes probably think you gangster, like, I'm Hired Gun, yeah, I'm a hitman, I kill niggas. But, like,
nah.
I know you don't, man. I'm just, you know what I'm saying, I'm just like.
Gonna get me shot out here in East New York.
Man. Oh, nah, man.
Yo, so check this out, man. And it's funny that we're talking about this. I talk about this all the time. And I actually, as of this past album, I've been shifting my name to my original, to my government, Mikal Amin. But I got the name Hired Gun way, 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 way back in like 99, 2000. And it was because of the fact I was all of these things that you're talking about. I was an artist. I was producing shows. I was emceeing to drum and bass, which I still do. Shout out to Black Ops. Had been playing with live bands. I'd been in all different types of scenes. So I got this reputation of being someone who, regardless of the situation, regardless of the job, I had the tools to represent sort of like a hired gun. So that's where the name came, where it came from. And even though I'm basically retiring it, that's really still true today because so much of what I do is not just in one lane and not in just one specific genre or anything of that nature. It's only been getting larger and more varied, especially now that I've, for the last going on 10 years, been an educator here in New York City.
Man, don't retire the name Hired Gun, man. I like the name Hired Gun, man. It's cool, man. Come on.
You grandfathered in, fam. You grandfathered. Certain people are always going to be grandfathered, and they just used to call me that. So it's all love. But for the new fans and individuals that are going to be meeting me moving forward, it's going to be Mikal Amin.
Okay, cool, man. Like whatever floats your boat, brother. It's all good. But to me, like you say to me, pessimist, everybody saying that. But like I go by Ash Hawkins. But it's all good, though. So I understand.
You
understand.
You get it. I got it. Word.
Exactly, man. But like, let me ask you a question. What inspired you to do this hip hop? What's your inspiration? Like, what drive you to do this?
Whew. Wow. Well, so I started writing when I was really, really young. And my original inspiration was I was looking for a way to express myself. Where I grew up in New Jersey. And where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me, that sounded like me. And the reality was, shouts to Reek Dog.
What part of Jersey?
Oof. From the sticks, man. I'm from the sticks, man. I grew up on the western side of the state, small little town called Hopatcong, New Jersey. And I was blessed, shouts to Reek Dog, rest in peace. He was my older cousin. He was an MC. Now, mind you, we like 12, 13 years old at this point.
Yeah.
But, he grew up in Newark, and we know Newark. So that's really where my immediate family came from. My father was a teacher in Newark for almost 40 years. And he introduced me to hip-hop, and the first thing I heard was Self-Destruction. And you know who's on Self-Destruction for all of the old school heads. It was MC Light, it was Chuck D, it was D-Light, Sonics, KRS-One, all of these legendary MCs. And I realized, that's who I am. That's who I want to be. The whole style was just dope. It was talking knowledge, talking just real slick talk. The beats were, so all of that was something that really instantly resonated with me. And then I started listening to Tribe Called Quest and other hip hop artists, and I realized that they represented who I saw myself as, and that was the inspiration, because I found an outlet to talk about the things that were happening to me, the things that I was seeing in my community. Like growing up in the 90s, man, we had the Rodney King riots, we had the Tawana Brawleys, we had the Iraq War going on. There was all of these things, and coming into my own as a young man, especially like a young black man, I'm seeing all these things, and hip hop seemed to be the way to express those things. So my music was always about making people think and making them ask questions about whether it's about themselves, what's going on in the world around them. And that's really my inspiration, just to get people to just think about where they're at, whether it's through my own personal story or whether it's through, the things that I see.
Yo, man, this dude is dropping mad knowledge right now, man. But I wanna get into some political question. What do you think about the whole Paris terrorism? Because I saw you on Facebook talking about it.
Right.
And I know, and I agree with a lot of your views over the years. Like the one that stuck in my head is always forgive but never forget.
Okay. Well, you know what?
When it comes to the slavery thing,
right.
And I saw you post it up, and I liked it, and I agree. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Cause why? Wait, I'm about to vent.
Break it down.
Why? The Asians, they get their reparations. Am I saying it right?
Reparations.
Mm-hmm. The Jews get their reparations. The Native Americans get their reparations. So why African American don't get their reparations? Even though my boy Drastic B, he don't like the term African Americans, I'm gonna say blacks, American blacks. Why they don't get their reparations?
Well, okay, so I'm on rapid fire with Sean Hannity right now. So I mean, you hit a bunch of stuff in one hit. I'm gonna say it like this. First and foremost, I think that unfortunately we live in a global world, and what I mean by that is that there are repercussions for actions that sovereign nations do to other sovereign nations, and the impact of that. And the thing about Paris is people don't understand the history, and they don't understand the connections between what we do in our global warfare and diplomacy, and what are the ramifications of some of those things, be it the United States, be it France, be it Germany. And this by no means am I saying that innocent people deserve anything, because they don't. But it's the reality of when you have certain parts of the world that are lacking in resources artificially. We're not talking about places that are without. We're talking about places that are being bled dry and politically being manipulated they're going to create factions of individuals that are going to go to the extremes. No different than Dylan Roof, who is an extremist, and he is a national terrorist in our country who went to the extremes and murdered 9 people in a church in South Carolina. When you create conditions and you're dealing with individuals that are dealing with fear, that's what happens. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to those individuals in Paris. But the reality of it is that they paid the price for the decisions of individuals that they don't know. And if we don't figure out ways to globally treat one another with respect, and if we continue on this path of trying to maintain power and dominance, you're not going to be shocked by the extent that these things go. As far as reparations, that's a whole nother story because, once again, and Tahisi Coates, I'm probably pronouncing the brother's name, he had a great article on that. He made an article in either The Guardian or The Atlantic, and the title of it was Making the Case for Reparations. And it's a long essay, and it talks about what you just asked about. But I would say this. I think that the reality of it is, and it goes back again to why we're having so much difficulty in this country, is that we've never continued or we've never completed the conversation on race in this country. And the more that we continue to bury it, and the more that people don't want to confront it honestly and reflect on it honestly, and I'm not talking really about black people, African Americans, whatever the term you need to use, but I'm talking about the majority of the country. If they don't really reflect on it and understand and know the history, this is going to continue. But everything gets muddled and confused because, black people, we're not a monolithic people. We have individuals that come directly from Africa, immigrated from Africa on their own in the last, 50 years.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interject. Wait.
Yeah.
Why do most black Americans focus on Egypt, knowing that our ancestors came from West Africa?
Wow, you kind of hit me with a question I can't answer. I wish I could answer that question, brother. I you know what I mean?
I had to, man.
I wish I could answer that question.
Man. I just had to ask that question. But actually, that question was influenced by my boy, Mr. Bread.
Okay, and you know what's dope about that? That's kind of deep, especially when you think about the Mali Kingdom, Sundiata. When you think about Timbuktu in Ethiopia, there's so many places in Africa that were the centers of knowledge and culture and power, honestly. But yeah, man, listen, I stopped answering for all black people when I was in high school, man. I don't know what all brothers and sisters think, and I'm not even going to try to pretend why and how I know. My personal feelings on it were, at the time when I was younger, I would say this, is that I think that because black people that were basically stolen and brought to this country, I think that it's a reaction to trying to find a semblance, an identity of self that was grand, because everything for hundreds of years in this country, everything was negative. Everything was lesser. Everything was inferior. And I think that this connection to Egypt for African Americans especially and specifically, I think some of that psychologically has to do with, well, it's kind of like why we call ourselves kings and queens, right? We understand that, like, there's no kingdom that's full of kings. You have merchants, you have teachers, you have priests, you have common folk, you have laborers, you have a lot of different types of people. None of those things are wrong. None of those things are bad or negative. None of those things shouldn't be celebrated. But when you've been at the bottom, when you've been psychologically told that you're lower than dirt and you're less than scum, your natural reaction is to try to place yourself in the highest possible thing you can imagine in your brain. And I think with all respect and truth, Egypt and Kemet, I should say, is a profound part of world history. And it was something that we could easily kind of latch onto in the face of being constantly told that you're basically less than nothing.
But why is only about Kemet? Because there was other kingdoms in Africa that was just as fruitful as Kemet.
I think this is misinformation. I think that's the hallmark of so much on a personal level, on a large scale level, individually, collectively, communally. I mean, even myself, there's you have to constantly be searching for knowledge. If you think you have